So this is my favorite mini mart. I've been talking about this. They had an armed robbery there. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. I think at the beginning of October, sometime like that. They have caught those individuals, and they're all a bunch of teenagers that have committed 78 armed robberies throughout King County. This is what justice reform, this is what soft on crime policies result in, because these kids know they're going to get away with it. And even when they're arrested for this stuff, you know what they said? Hey, could you hurry this along? I got stuff to do on the weekend. Legitimately, that's what they said. That's how brazen these kids are. They know that in Seattle, they know in the state of Washington, soft on crime policies apply. Here we go. This mini mart is about 1.25 miles from my house. I know Sonny, the guy that runs it, whether he's the owner or the day manager, I'm not sure. But I think he's the owner. And sad stuff.
Guns drawn burst into a Bellevue gas station and steal from more than the till.
And you had customers even.
And those two poor guys were also robbed.
And all of that went down in about a minute. The armed robbers struck the Crossroads Chevron on Northeast 8th Avenue in Bellevue just after 11 Sunday night. KIRO 7's Deborah Horn tells us the robbers even ignored the surveillance cameras, recording everything.
I have to tell you, this even has Bellevue police on high alert. Not only did the crooks ignore the surveillance cameras, they went after the customers too.
Despite of all these cameras, they just showed up,
This has never happened before at the Crossroads Chevron, and it has left even the day manager shocked.
It's definitely a scary situation. Despite of working in the daytime, it can happen in the daytime.
But it happened last Sunday night, just after 11 o'clock. You can see for yourself just how bold the crooks were. Bursting in, guns drawn. Incredibly, they go right for the two customers.
And then, at which point they push them into a corner and then go behind the counter, which is what they were there for, the money out of the cash register.
Captain Landon Barnwell says their boldness surprised even seasoned Bellevue investigators.
It's not a common thing in Bellevue, to have this type of a brazen armed robbery. However, we know, in Bellevue, we're not immune to crime.
Especially troubling is that customers were targeted too. Should one run out of the store? Hide?
If you think laying on the floor and just listening and obeying and doing what they're asking you to do, if that can help you get out of this safely until you can call 911, then that's exactly what we want you to do.
And even Sunny Ali sees a silver lining.
Everybody was safe. The employees were safe. Those two customers were safe.
Still, he says they are beefing up security, even adding a second worker on the night shift. They also plan to make sure that there isn't much money in the till for anyone to take.
All right, so here's the video indicating 78 armed robberies. Got 4 kids involved. You need to put these kids in the maximum time possible in prison. Get them off the streets. They are bad apples. Whether or not they can be rehabbed, who knows? But let's not take the chance of them running around anymore, right? This whole justice reform, this whole, we just need to work with the kids because, no. Get them off the streets, incarcerate them, do what you got to do so the rest of society is a scooch safer. 78 armed robberies, unbelievable.
We're getting the first official criminal charges now after police arrested 4 teens accused in 78 armed robberies. The charges stem from 2 different cases, including an armed carjacking and robbery that eventually led to this group's takedown. Today, King County prosecutors charged 18-year-old John Bailey Johnson and a 16-year-old. According to the court documents, 4 teens, including those 2, approached 2 victims in a Bellevue apartment complex. Police say they threatened to shoot the victims if they didn't turn over all their possessions. That includes the keys to a black Mercedes. Seattle police eventually tracked that stolen car down and took all of them into custody. We're also getting a look at charging documents from the moment this group allegedly targeted a Circle K gas station. The robbery happened on October 4th at the convenience store near Seattle University. Police say a group of customers were in line to buy items when one of the 16-year-olds walked in and pointed a gun right at them. The victims dropped what was in their hands, and the teen pillaged the store for the money in the register. Police say the gun used in this armed robbery matched the one they recovered from the stolen Mercedes during the group's arrest. As for what comes next, the prosecutors prosecutor's office says Bailey Johnson is in custody on $350,000 bail. He's expected to be arraigned on the charges on October 28th. Tomorrow, the 16-year-old will be in court at the Clark Child and Family Justice Center. The 15-year-old was taken into custody for violating previous court-ordered terms. He's still in custody, but not yet facing any new charges. The other 16-year-old was arrested, but prosecutors have not received the charges from police yet. However, police are still working on the paperwork for those other 76 cases.
Are you effing kidding me? So if you're part of a gang, and it's my understanding from Sonny at the Chevron that these kids are gangbangers from Kent, Auburn area, and if you're part of a gang running around that has done 78 armed robberies, then you should get charged. You should get charged as an adult, and you should do 20, 25 years. I don't know. What's fair? My kind of thought was, get them into their mid-30s, incarcerate them until their mid-30s, and then maybe, just maybe, they'll think about what they've done and, go in a different direction. By that, if you're doing 78 armed robberies, you know what? Is there any chance for you to be rehabilitated? I don't really know, and I don't really care. They need to be taken off the streets, period. Not put in some juvenile halfway house, because they're just going to go out and do it again. Because after 40 or 50, you're like, we can get away with this. And they did. And they kept doing it. And you saw how brazen they were, right? 16-year-old and 18-year-old accused of committing nearly 80 armed robberies around King County have officially been charged. Seattle City leaders announced on Friday, October the 11th, that 4 male teens were arrested in connection to a crime spree consisting of at least 78 cases. And the case at the Chevron Mini Mart with Sonny, and also another mini mart that's much closer to my home, but I enjoy going to this mini mart because it's a good mini mart. I like it. It's on my way to my office, kind of. And I just like the people that work there. The guy that had the robbery happen on him, he had to take the week off because he was just mentally, he was really shaken up, as you would be if somebody points a gun at you and you don't know if you're going to make it out of your night shift at the mini mart. Right? My other mini mart closer to my home, there was another armed robbery there, and they ripped the cash register and some of the surveillance equipment right off the counter. Came in and just boop. So those are 2 of the 78 cases and 2 of the 76 cases that they're still working on. They were allegedly involved in multiple armed robberies, shootings, carjackings, and other violent incidents, with 22 of them happening in Seattle alone. Teens were aged 18, 15, and 2 were 16. Investigators said that the ringleader of the criminal gang was so emboldened, he asked police to book him quickly so that he could be out of jail by the weekend. Hey, I got a hot date. I got this girl, and I think she's going to put out. So I'm feeling lucky. Plus, I got some money in my pocket from all of the robberies. So could you move this along, officer, or whatever? Could you just get this going? Because it's the weekend. On Tuesday, the King County Prosecutor's Office said 2 of the 4 teens were charged, as they were still awaiting a case referral from one of the 16-year-olds and a bench warrant for the 15-year-old. Got a $350,000 bail, 16-year-old charged with 2 counts of first-degree robbery. Say the police investigation of the teens' cases is ongoing, so they're just going to throw the book at them because they got all these cases that, if you name 78, then that means you've got a pretty good idea that these guys, this is your crew, that this is who you need to incarcerate. In the Bellevue robbery, court documents claim the teens robbed 2 victims at gunpoint, taking their car, money, and personal items. Police received reports of a robbery and attempted carjacking at Bellevue's Factoria Mall prior to the crime. That is kind of South Bellevue, in between Bellevue and Newcastle. Police say on a surveillance camera at the Nordstrom Rack, Bailey Johnson and the 16-year-old were seen in the store. Using this information, Bellevue police were able to track down the suspects in the area, and SWAT eventually took them into custody on State Route 18. Need to put these boys away in prison for a while. That's not going to happen because this is Washington State and this is King County. They're going to do a couple of years. They're going to be right back out, might keep their nose clean for a scooch. And by that, I mean a week, a month, maybe a year. And then they're going to be right at it, because why wouldn't they? They have learned nothing. If officials were smart, they just incarcerate these kids for as long as they can, but they won't do that, because that is how my state operates. Bailey Johnson was arrested 7 times in the past 2 years, including possession for a stolen vehicle, robbery, and possession of stolen property. I mean, the whole thing is just, this is not the first time, nor is this the last time. Court documents claim the team pulled out a black handgun upon entering the store, robbed customers of their wallets, and stole $100 from the cash register within 1 minute. These are pros. These are teenaged pros. When you have 78 armed robberies underneath your belt, then that's the kind of indication of, hey, you got to charge these kids as adults and put them away for a while, because clearly, they are not going to go on the straight and narrow. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? It was a good run. We're just going to kind of disappear. 15-year-old, another 16-year-old may face charges at a later date, and additional charges are possible for the 2 suspects who have already been charged. And you know what? So much of this happened, I believe, because of coordination between the police efforts. And in the case of Sonny at my mini mart there on Northeast 8th and 164th, they were able to grab fingerprints from the cash register, is the way it was explained to me. Sonny, if I got that wrong, I apologize. But I just want to see people safe. I want to be able to go in and get my Monster drink, get my water, whatever it is I'm getting, maybe some donuts on a crazy day, and have a little banter with the guy behind the counter, and not worry about that dude having a gun pulled on him in an armed robbery attempt over $100. Is that reasonable? Yeah, I think so. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.